lined up today. We've seen some amazing guests. We've taken photos with them. We've taken signatures. And now it's finally time to invite some amazing guests here on stage to do the Q&A with us. I see there are already a lot of questions lined up, so let's not wait any longer. We're going to give it up for the cast of the Ghostbusters. Give it up for Logan Kim! And last but not least, give it up for Wolfhard! Welcome to our stage here in Dortmund. How are you guys doing? How's Dortmund treating you so far? Finn, how's your day been yesterday and today so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I was here in 2017, it's been...
Oh.
I'll go a cappella. I'll freestyle. It's been great. Thank you, Mckenna.
You're welcome.
Mckenna, how's your day been so far?
My day is so good. How's your day?
It was great. It's great to be here, and it's great to be here on this panel with all of you. And Logan, also welcome to you. It's fantastic to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Here.
So we've got about 40 minutes for this panel. It's a little time slot, and we have a lot of questions, so we'll see how far we can get. And let's dive right into our first guest right over there. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. So my question, McKenna's character Phoebe had some good jokes in Ghostbusters. Which one made you laugh the most, and could you maybe tell us another joke?
Oh, wow.
I really liked the polar bear joke I told. I can think of a new one. Oh, what did the two tectonic plates say whenever they bumped into one another? You gotta say what?
What? You say what? Do they say?
Sorry, my fault.
Oh.
All mine, it's not very funny.
There it is, so funny. It's more of a, yeah. It's language barrier, probably.
Which one was your favorite?
Mine was, what do you call a fish with no eyes?
Perfect. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you.
I wanted to ask, the Ghostbusters fandom is such a huge fandom, and I can imagine that coming into it as a new actor, as a new character, can be a lot of pressure. So I wanted to ask how you guys deal with the pressure. Like, are there any expectations that you needed to hold on to?
The question was, how do we deal with the pressure of Ghostbusters? Drinking a lot of alcohol, trying to uphold my... No, but legitimately, it's been... I mean, everyone was incredibly nice to us when we came in, so it didn't really feel like pressure, really. It kind of felt like we were just filming our own little, like, independent, kind of isolated film. But at the same time, obviously, it was a huge sort of, legacy to be a part of.
I grew up watching Ghostbusters, so, like, to kind of get into the role and stuff, I just watched the movies a whole bunch, and my mom loved them, so I'm like, okay, I gotta make this good and make sure it's done right.
I was just gonna say, like, how much of the Lord did you already know before, and of Ghostbusters? So what about you? How much of Ghostbusters did you already know before getting into, that whole world?
Everybody's always like, did you even watch Ghostbusters before?
Oh, really?
Did you know about Ghostbusters? It's like, yeah, of course I knew about Ghostbusters. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Like, it was my favorite growing up. I was a Ghostbuster for Halloween, like 2 years before I shot Ghostbusters, and he was a Ghostbuster in the show, and
Exactly.
it's really weird and cool. I love Ghostbusters.
It's kind of like a full circle thing that you were already a Ghostbuster in Stranger Things. And,
Yeah, I went like McKenna, except it was like an Inception situation where I was playing a Ghostbuster in another TV show, which is crazy, and then it worked out.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your question.
I have another really short question.
Sure.
We have some really amazing musicians there on stage. I was wondering if we could ever get a collaboration? Because I think your voices would go really well together.
Oh. You're talking about me and Logan's rap?
Yeah, I have a really good voice.
Side project?
Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, I mean, sure. If there was ever a song that showed up and for both of us, I'm sure we would.
I'll play the guitar.
Yeah, Logan will play guitar.
Thank you so much for the
Thank
question.
you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi guys, my question is actually for Finn. So you guys play siblings in Ghostbusters, and you are the older, cooler brother to the younger, dorky.
Would not use the word cool, but
Neither would I.
Well, cooler. But I was just wondering if this brought you back to playing the younger, dorkier brother of Nancy in Stranger Things.
Oh.
Because I know that Natalia Dyer has expressed a desire to, reconnect Mike and Nancy in the future, and I was wondering what you thought about that, and also if you brought that experience to working with Mckenna.
No, I mean, I have it's more like I have a sibling in real life who's 5 years older than me, and so I think it's a lot of, I think those dynamics that go into it, even though I'm a younger brother, I think like we kind of swap on like sometimes like who's the older brother and like who isn't, because we're both of us are sort of mature in some ways and both of us are immature in other ways, and so that's kind of where it came from in like our dynamic, but also just like me and McKenna's dynamic too in real life, like that lends to it as well. And then as far as doing more scenes with Natalia, yeah, I mean, season 5 of Stranger Things, I'm sure there's going to be some, I would hope, I mean, we haven't really had a one-on-one scene together really since like the first season, so I'd like to really have that in the 5th season since it's the last one.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks so much.
Hi, so my question is, what is your favorite Stranger Things song so far?
Your favorite Stranger Things
Song.
song?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You guys go first. I don't know. I really like the Clash stuff in the first season. Like I remember like the "Should I Stay or Should I Go" song was really cool that they got the rights to that and used that. That's probably my favorite.
There are like a lot of, with Ghostbusters, there's also a lot of 80s crossovers, right? What's the most iconic 80s thing that is special to like all three of you? What is one of the things of the 80s that you really treasure?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah? Ghostbusters itself?
I think
Yeah.
just music in general. I
Yeah.
love all 80s music. It's so good.
Yeah, 80s music is awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't say the style really, but the music I would say for sure.
I can imagine. Great answer. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to Germany. My question goes to Finn. Before you was filming the It movie, I heard that you're afraid of clowns. How was it for you to shoot the It movie, and have you ever overcome the fear?
How was it to shoot what movie?
The It movie.
Oh, how was it to shoot the first film? Oh, it was great. I mean, it's great also, like when I've been really lucky that I've like been a part of a lot of stuff, like a lot of movies where you are around people that are kind of similar in age to you, because sometimes like when you're a kid actor, sometimes like you're in movies where it's like you're hanging out with a lot of adults, and so like I've always really cherished like movies like It or like Ghostbusters or Stranger Things where like I get to kind of act with people who are around my age, and like I get to make friends with them, and it doesn't feel as it feels like you're kind of having a summer adventure, not only like, and I think not only in real life, but also I think it comes through on screen. And so like I think that's why It felt so special, is because like that it invoked like exactly how I felt that time in my life, which was like I was having the greatest time of my life with my best friends. We were running around Ontario in the summer, and they like add acting and blood to that, and they kind of just like did what we were doing. Same with like Ghostbusters, it felt like a real family, like shoot, because everyone was super close. We were all kind of in the middle of nowhere together, and we just hung out all the time. Yeah, so thanks.
And all three of you, of course, started acting at a fairly young age. Mckenna, what was the moment that you realized, like, this is, like, I want to be an actor. This is the life I want to have?
I mean, I've been doing it for about 12 years now, which is a while. So I mean, I don't know if there was a definite decision whenever I was much younger that's like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I think that as I've grown up in the industry, of course, like, I decided this is what I wanted to do growing up, but I think that as I've just continued working and acting and getting to meet people, I've really just grown to especially love it. I mean, I've always loved it. I've always known that it's what I wanted to do, but I think that as I've gotten older and I've been able to appreciate it a lot more, that it's been like, oh, this is like what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Is that the same for you, Logan, or do you have like a distinct moment that you can point out?
I think I watched like a whole bunch of Mission Impossible movies, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Do my own stunts and.
I love the stunts. It looks so cool. I'm probably not gonna do the stunts though, because I'll probably die. But you know, Tom Cruise, he can do it.
Exactly. Thanks so much. Hi.
Hi. This question is for all of you, and it's in which movie did you learn the most or had the best acting experience?
In which movie did you learn the most? Well, it's a very broad question, so you can make your own answer.
Well, I think Ghostbusters, because it's, you know, the only movie I've done. But, you know, I did learn a lot from my FedEx commercial that I did when I was young. I just recently did a TV show, and so I guess that doesn't really count as a movie, but I learned a lot from there as well, from the actors on set.
I think you finished shooting season 1, right? It's, yeah, exactly, Dead City, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, we can't wait to see it. Yeah, was it for all three, or, yeah?
I learned a lot about acting on a film I did called Gifted, because that was one of the first bigger-ish films that I ever did, and I was so young, and I got an opportunity to learn from some really amazing people, our director and the other actors. And then I feel like I learned a lot about acting on Ghostbusters, and just last summer I did this series called A Friend of the Family, and I think that I really, really learned a lot on that show.
I think the most I learned sort of was like about I co-directed a film last summer, and so those two. Thank you. Let's hope those cheers get someone to release the movie one day. I think I learned a lot just from doing it, like just from like actually being there and sort of like doing a really kind of short shoot, and yeah, you learn an insane amount just by sort of doing it, and like stuff about the industry and about yourself and what you want to do, and yeah.
And you learn a lot, of course, from each other and from the other actors. On the set of Ghostbusters, was there one of the, let's call them senior actors, that really took on a mentor role specifically, or was it, you know, all of them or none of them?
Yeah, I think all of them in a way. Like all of them were so amazing. Yeah, I mean, I look up to Paul Rudd a lot because he was someone that, like, obviously, like I grew up watching, and we had scenes together, and so getting to kind of pick his brain about the industry and like hearing his advice about things, pretty amazing. But then also like someone like Carrie Coon, who plays our mom, is like also just like a seasoned, incredible actor, and so like I think she's like one of the best actors living right now, and so to just ask her about like just how she does her thing. But then also obviously like Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd, like having them around too, just like seeing the way that they work, it's really, really interesting.
Fantastic, thanks so much. Thank you, hi.
Hey, at first I love all of you, and I hope you have a great visit here in Germany. And my question is, what memory do you want to leave behind to the world after?
Logan, what would you like your legacy to be as like an actor or a person, or you know, What's the ultimate goal?
It's a deep question.
Yeah,
Existential question.
Deeply philosophical.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to have. It's a very stupid question, but sorry, not question, answer. Oh my god, that was so mean. Sorry, answer of my thing. Very stupid question. Very stupid answer on my part. Of like, I just kind of want to be able to like make the things that I want to make and like have fun doing it. I don't really care. Like sometimes I think a lot of people care, like especially a lot of, you know, like we're all kids who started in acting and stuff like that. And I think some kids when they grow up and become actors and famous, I think there's a lot of fear around like staying relevant and I think in that, like trying to stay relevant, like I think a lot of people get lost and like forget why they're acting or doing the things that they're doing in the first place. And so I'm just like, I'm not concerned about staying relevant. I'm just kind of concerned about doing the things that I like to do, and like if people like it, great. If not, like I just kind of want to be happy. So yeah.
I think that I just want to. I would hopefully. I just want to become as good of an actress as I can and make as many good films. I really love getting to act and getting to be here is so lovely, and getting to meet people, and I'd hope to be remembered as nice or and stuff and a good actor. Yeah. You know, simply.
Yeah, I don't really care about it, but
yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. You know, I just want to entertain as many people as possible. Eventually, I want to try to get into like more action stuff, and I don't know, just for fun. I want to have a lot of fun with it, really.
I think like that's essential to you know, having a legacy, that you enjoyed what you did and enjoy it as much as you can for as long as you do it. Definitely. Thank you so much for that very deep question. Hi.
How did you feel when your hair was dyed black? This question is for Mckenna.
Sorry, how did you?
This question is for Mckenna.
Yeah, and your question is?
Hi, good to see you.
Hi. How did you feel when your hair was dyed black? Your hair.
When your hair was dyed black, wow.
I love my haircut. I think that it was really lovely on Phoebe. I think that it's truly so Phoebe, and it's such a sweet haircut. Personally, I like having my long hair. It's like, I don't know. It's taken a really long time to grow it out again since Ghostbusters. But personally, I don't think that it looks great on me as Mckenna, but as Phoebe, I think that it's such a lovely cut, and it's her, you know? I think that that's like recognizable as Phoebe, and I think that it's so lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
My question is, what's the funniest on set? My question is, what's the funniest on set memory you guys had?
The funniest on-set memory that you had.
Whenever our trailers were filled with balloons.
Oh yeah. Who did it? Was it you that did that? Or
No.
Jason did that?
We sticky noted Jason's trailer. Our director, Jason Reitman, we sticky noted his trailer with compliments. Was that both of us?
Yeah,
we did
nice.
that, yeah. And then he filled our school trailers with balloons. Oh, and there was somebody, we never found out who it was. I don't know who it was who was leaving fake bones around our base camp. On each of our trailer doorsteps, fake bones and fake eyeballs, and we never found out who it was. At least I didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of practical joke things going on that set. Where I opened the door to my trailer and just like 500 balloons just like cascaded out of the door. That was very funny. But yeah, I mean, it was a really generally very fun set to be on. I can't think of like a specific moment, but like I think they're all so fun. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Hi guys, and our question is, how old were you when you watched Ghostbusters for the first time, and who was your favorite?
How old were you when you watched the first Ghostbusters? And who was your favorite Ghostbuster? Wow.
Me?
Yeah.
I think my mom just yesterday showed me a picture of me watching Ghostbusters for the first time, and I must have been like 4 or 5, and I watched Ghostbusters, Howard the Duck, and like one of the Pee-wee's Playhouse movies, like all in the same night. So a night for the books. But I think I always really liked Venkman because he's so funny. But I mean, now of course Egon's my favorite. Well, no favorites, of course, but I mean, I do love them all.
Yeah, I was like 4 when I first watched the movie. My mom made sure I knew all of the old classic, like best movies of the 80s and stuff like that. And so when I watched it for the first time, I was just like in awe, and I was actually kind of terrified of it, but that's besides the point. My favorite Ghostbuster, I mean, I guess I'll just have to go with Mckenna on this, but Venkman was definitely my favorite. Always, I mean, just so funny. I mean, Bill just pulls it off, it's so fun.
Yeah, I watched it when I was pretty young as well. I think my favorite, I loved Venkman obviously. I love him and Stan's relationship so much, that was so great. I also loved any scene where it's just Egon and Winston talking. Because I feel like they're kind of a great match. And there's also such a coolness too with Winston that's just like, there's that scene where they're talking about the Twinkie, and he's talking about the giant Twinkie, and like, I don't know, Ernie has him with the cigarette, and it's just so cool. He's just so cool. Like, he's just so cool in it. And then also, not a Ghostbuster, but Rick Moranis in that movie, I loved so much. I thought it was so funny.
I really loved whenever Janine and Egon had interactions. I just always thought that was such a fun chemistry.
Yeah, definitely. Who's your favorite?
I don't know. I can't choose.
Oh wow, but you're asking them and you can't choose yourself. That's not fair. No, okay, thank you so much for your question. Hi.
Hi. So my question would be, well, first of all, oh my gosh, this is sorry. Ghostbusters was a really iconic movie in the 80s, and I just wondered if there were any other reboots of movies that you'd like to act in. What would they be?
Oh wow, so let's yeah, what would you like to have rebooted? Logan.
Yeah, so okay, listen, when I was 12, I looked exactly like Russell from Up, and I could have totally done a live action thing if like COVID never happened, and I was just so ready for it. It just never happened. It's very sad.
I don't know. I mean, I'm lucky to be a part of like a few like kind of reboots or remake or like whatever you would call them. And I don't know if I do enough. Like I'm really happy that I did. Like I was really happy with it, and I'm really happy with Ghostbusters and doing kind of like those kind of films, but I think it would have to be really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's so many great movies from the '80s that I Monster Squad is one that I think would be interesting, or like
Back to the Future would be.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't necessarily want to reboot it, but
yeah, but it's that one is like you can't touch it because it's like
exactly,
it would be sacrilegious to touch Back to the Future and try to remake it. So yeah.
Any for you?
I don't. It's not 80s, but I feel like I've always wanted, like growing up, I always wanted to play like a Disney princess or something. I feel like I always.
Which princess, if you could choose from all of them, which one would you?
I always love Snow White, and I'm so excited to see that movie. I think I love Rapunzel, and I feel like getting to have like long blonde. That would be so fun if they ever made that. I feel like that'd be so cool. You know what I love lately that they have been making is the Evil Dead franchise. It's one of my favorite films. I just watched the new one. I loved it, and I think that those are so sick.
Yeah, I agree. I think those Evil Dead movies are incredible.
Should do an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, we'll do another Evil Dead. Yeah.
Well, next year we'll have an Evil Dead panel with all three of you.
Great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Hi, my name is Dennis. I have one question for Mr. Finn.
Okay.
I like strange things.
Thank you.
And my God, I'm so nervous.
No problem.
Like in classroom with professor.
Yeah.
I have one question about the movie It. Did you having nightmares when Bill come to you in scenes when he's chasing you, when he's screaming, when he grab you and something like that?
Right. Yeah. Bill Skarsgård is just like a normal Swedish dude. So I was never really scared by him. I was frightened. Like the very first take I remember us doing, and I remember being like, it scaring me. But in between takes, like I knew that he was like just a guy underneath the suit, sort of, and I got to talking to him. It was really funny having a normal conversation while he looked like that, because like imagine just having like a normal, like Pennywise just drinking a cup of coffee, like, oh, how'd you sleep last night? Like, that's not fun, but like having a normal conversation. So that was sort of my relationship with Bill, was just kind of making small talk with him in between these kind of terrifying takes. So you kind of try to compartmentalize the scariness, I would say.
And one more question. Who is your favorite actor? Your role model?
In general, your role model.
For all of us?
Yeah.
Or just
all three.
Yeah.
What did you say, Mckenna? Sorry, I didn't.
I said mine is Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
Mine is Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of people that I looked up to. Like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, I remember being pretty, like, from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and many other movies, obviously, were big inspirations, like Paul Rudd, Michael Cera, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, like a lot of kind of comedic young actors, I would say. A lot of SNL people,
Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I think he's just like such a cool guy, and everything he's done I love. I just want to be like him, we'll see what happens.
Perfect. You're sticking with Finn, right?
I really love Florence Pugh.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I love her. She's so talented and beautiful. I just look up to her.
I can totally imagine. So thank you so much for that question. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonas, and I have two questions for Finn. The first one is, what was the most difficult scene you have ever done in Stranger Things?
What was the what?
Most difficult scene you've ever had to do in Stranger Things?
There's been a few. One where most of them are pretty technical. Just like there's one in season 3 where we're in the cabin and the cabin gets ripped apart and stuff, and the tentacles are coming through the walls, and that was just days and days and days of filming, and a lot of physical work of kind of we were supposed to push something onto, or no, we were supposed to pull Millie, we had our hands on our legs, we were supposed to pull her from the roof, and she was suspended up, but we were on carpet that was loose on the ground, and so every time we pulled, the carpet would slide in front of us, and we'd slide down to the ground every time, and it just was impossible to get. And then also last season, the scene where Millie is in the bathtub in the pizza place, that whole sequence was so hard to film, because it just was a lot of stuff to get. And all the desert stuff last year as well, because it was so hot, the cars kept breaking down because it was so hot, the pizza van we were in, and so it's mostly just technical. Not that it hasn't been difficult at all being acting in it, because acting's always hard, but usually the things kind of that get in the way on that set are things that are just technical or
And my second question is, since I'm a big fan of yours, can I have a quick hug?
No. Sorry. No. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're gonna have a hug from me later.
Yeah, you get on from him later. Yeah, see ya.
Hi.
Hi, my question is for Mckenna. Because you play a lot of younger versions of actors like Margot Robbie or Brie Larson, and how do you approach that? And do they give you any tips on how you should play their characters, or what?
How do you prepare for that kind of roles?
Yeah, well, I usually would just watch a lot of their films. I mean, I would just watch a lot of their films. If it was for a show, I'd watch the episodes before what I'm doing. Whenever I did The Haunting of Hill House, since it was a lot of half of the younger cast, half of the older cast, I had a shared diary with Miss Kate, who played older Theo, and we would interchange like diaries every once in a while that was like in our character's perspective or something like that. But yeah, I mean, mostly I would just study how the actresses worked in their other films or how they played the character before me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, thanks. Well, you're all three very talented, and you're also very young. You've done a lot of different things, like from Gifted, Fuller House, and It, Stranger Things, like When You Finish Saving the World, very different things. So I'm wondering, where do you see, what are your like career goals from 5 to 10 years? Like, do you want to direct more blockbusters, more indie films? Do you want an Oscar? Like,
okay, yeah. So what kind of genres would you like to explore if you were given the opportunities, of course?
Yeah, I want to eventually get into producing and stuff like that. I don't know if I have, you know, what it takes to be a director. I think that's all Finn. Finn's got it. But, you know, producing is really what I look forward to, and I do want to do more kind of action roles eventually, obviously. I said that already. Whatever.
I really love writing. I've written a few scripts that I send out to people, and I got one made back in December 2021 that I wrote with my dad. My dad and I both love writing, so that's something I would really love to move more into, is writing and directing. I think it's a really exciting part of the creative process. But of course, I just want to keep acting mostly. I love getting to act, so I mean, you know, just anything that I could move into. I think it's such a cool industry. There's so many things.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I like acting. Same kind of thing. I like acting. I like writing. I really like directing. I've always liked filmmaking, so hopefully do a bit more of that. And then like, for me, I feel like it's mostly too. It's good to have like career goals and then personal goals on top of that, just so you can feel good about your real life too. Like, I want to travel more and like see the world and make some more stuff. I don't really have a specific like I want to do this kind of movie. I definitely want to do another kind of like as an actor. I think I'd be interested to do kind of another dramatic role. Because I kind of rarely get to do that, so I'd like to do that, and yeah.
Thanks so much. So we're almost out of time, and I know there are still some questions lined up, so we'll do one more question. And if you still have questions, you can of course find them at the signing table, get your signature, and then while they're signing you can get your question in. But for now, unfortunately, we're almost out of time for this panel. So final question. Hi. Expectations are high, you know this, right?
I think it's very cool that music is not a hobby of yours. My passion is rock and metal. I want to know which musician or band inspired you the most.
Okay, so the last part, like, which inspired you the most? Like film or music, you mean, or?
Which musician?
Okay, which musician inspires you the most?
I mean, all of us play music, but I'd say for me, I mean, it's like, obviously, it's like the Beatles, and then everyone else. Yeah, they're great. Obviously, they're the best band ever. And then, tons of people, you know, Pavement and like, a lot of people.
A lot of people.
I started writing music because of Conan Gray. If you know me, he's actually. I have on his merch right now. I wore it today. But that's why I started writing music. But I really love Lana Del Rey. I love her. And Taylor Swift. I feel like that's basic, but I mean they're so good.
Me? Oh, well, I mean, I just listen to like Metallica and Megadeth, Iron Maiden, just all the kind of metal stuff. I like rock, like AC/DC and all that. And that's really what I'm learning on guitar right now, anyway. So, yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for that question. Now, before we end our panel, I'm going to invite our photographer Jenna on stage to take a picture with you here in front of the crowd and end the panel in that way. So what you can do is you can get up from your chairs, but stay in your place. That's like the best way to take the photo. And then we'll have some fun. I'll count to 3 and we're going to make as much noise as we can to finish this. On the count of 3, make some noise. 1, 2, 3, Germany!
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One more, Germany, make some noise! All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a lot of fun today.